Alright, today I'm going to be putting out probably one of my most controversial videos by far. I will be ranking the letters of the English alphabet. Now I know a lot of people have their own opinions about this. I'm just going to get out of the way now. You're wrong. I'm right. That's all. That's really all it is. What are the criteria we're going to be grading these letters on? Couldn't fucking tell you. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, go with my own way. This is the highest quality content you're ever going to see on the platform. Now, of course, we're going to start in alphabetical order with A first. Now, A is interesting. I don't think A is like the best letter in the English alphabet, but it's a good letter, for sure. When you think of the ABCs, A is the first thing you think of, right? A is also like it's like a conjecture. I don't think that's right, but it's something. It's used to connect words. It also starts a lot of sentences. When you think of drawing the letter A, I'd say like the capital A, pretty strong. That goes in A tier, fittingly. The lowercase a, I think kind of sucks though. Lowercase a is kind of C. So I'm going to be throwing A up in B tier, funny enough. I think that we could go higher. Maybe this could move up further along in the tier list. For right now, I'd say it's a good starting point, above average letter. Moving on to B. Now B is a pretty damn good letter. I'd argue possibly even better than A. When you think of drawing a B, that's just pretty satisfying. And the lowercase b, I think, fits pretty well. Because it'd pretty much just be like a, you know, it makes sense. Like, when you think lowercase b and uppercase b, you're pretty much removing the thing that makes it like bigger to make it lowercase, or adding another level of it to make it uppercase. I think that's pretty neat. B is an animal. I like bees. Bees are pretty cool. Unless they sting you, fellas are pretty nice, right? I thought about being like what do they call? A bee farmer? One sec, I'm gonna Google this. A bee farmer. A beekeeper. Yeah, that's what I meant. So yeah, I'm evidently gonna be placing B up in A tier. C is a pretty neat letter. I'm gonna be saying that a lot today, I feel like. I don't think that's like it's great or anything. It's very easy to draw though. Maybe for some people this will be like a pro. For me, it's kind of a con. Like, you can't tell when a C is uppercase or lowercase unless you kind of use it to scale which size. It doesn't have its own distinct uppercase and lowercase letter. It's just determined by the size of the C, which is cool and all, but maybe detracts a few points. It also, when you look at it in words, sometimes it can make a lot of different sounds. It can be a pretty confusing letter. It's really tough. Where am I going to place this? I mean, C is also a word. Like, you see something. But it's not as cool of a word as bee. Like, bees are animals. Bees are pretty fucking cool animals. So C is just gonna go in C tier. I feel like it's fitting. D. I think D is a pretty cool letter. Nothing great, though. When you think of words that start with the letter D, dog. Pretty great, right? Yeah, that's all I've got. Dementia, when you can't remember what other words start with D. I'm just gonna say it, like, D is pretty okay. I think drawing it, like the uppercase version, very easy. Pretty cool. You know what sound it makes in words. It's just a duh, you know? So, but when you look at the lowercase letter, it's not nearly as nice as something like B, because it's pretty much a backwards B for the lowercase. But looking at D, you wouldn't guess that. It doesn't make sense. So, I mean, to have a backwards B, backwards like uppercase B be what an uppercase D is, I think makes no sense. But I'm not gonna throw D down in D tier. I think I'm gonna keep it below C, but it's still gonna be in C tier. E. I don't think E is like amazing or anything. E is not its own word. It's kind of difficult to draw. To write out a capital E, that's like 2 steps. You have to lift your pencil up once. Unless you draw that shit super wacky, and that shit will probably look like ass if you do like a, you know what I'm talking about? And the lowercase e, I think looks pretty cool. But it can be kind of confusing, especially if you're writing fast. It can look like other letters very easily. Maybe I just have shitty handwriting though. Either way, I think E is okay. It's gonna go, probably just gonna go in C tier. It's not something I feel super strong about, and sometimes the pronunciation can be kind of confusing with E. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's a tough one. I'll come back to E. F. Associated with failure. Now, as much as some people might love to see, I'm not going to be placing F in F tier. There's a lot of benefits to F. I think how it looks uppercase-wise and lowercase-wise makes a lot of sense. It fits. If you were to point out random uppercase letters and random lowercase letters and be like, yo, match these things, you'd be like, okay, this is uppercase and lowercase F. 100%. F usually has a fairly consistent sound. It's a tough call. I'm tempted to throw it in C tier. Is this list all is gonna be C's? Oh god. But you know what? I'm gonna put it up in. I don't feel good doing that. I feel wrong. Cause this is also kind of like if I'm bitching about E, where you have to kind of like lift your pencil again or pen to draw. Evidently, you're gonna be going like, psh, especially if you're drawing a lowercase. If you manage to draw a lowercase letter and it's like normal for you to not pick up your pencil, you're a fucking maniac. Like you belong like on a list or something. Oh fuck! I just spilled water. But yeah, like I don't think it's that great. Evidently, I'm just gonna put this. Fuck, dude, I don't want to put all these goddamn letters in C tier. I'm gonna keep it right here though. It's gonna be going above D. All right, breaking the pattern a little bit here. We might move these around. Okay, G. G fucking sucks. If you were to be like, yo, same argument with F. If you were to be like, hey, match uppercase G with lowercase G, and you have no idea what the fucking English alphabet is, you just see like squiggles, right? You would never guess these things were like different versions of each other, right? G's going in fucking F tier. It also makes way too many fucking sounds. Sometimes G makes a J. Sometimes it's a G. I mean, that's all I can think of right now, but that's two different sounds. That's a lot. I also think this shit kind of sucks to cross, man. It's like, maybe it's kind of fun, you know, because it's like, ooh, you know, circles, cool, right? Maybe foreshadowing, where O will end up. But yeah, G I think kind of sucks. Sorry to all the Graces out there. I looked at my demographics on my channel, though. It's like all dudes. It's a sausage fest out here, so. Other names that start with G? Couldn't tell yet. Goku. H. H kind of also sucks. It does some weird things. I feel like H is kind of the backbone to a lot of words, though. Like, if you were to think fight, if you spelled fight, F-I-G-H-T, right? If the H wasn't there, that'd look kind of weird. But if the G, again, if G wasn't there either, G has no reason to belong in the word fight, right? Like, that shit looks weird. It has no reason to make that sound. Which is also, again, like, G is fucking down here. G sucks. It's not a great letter. And you do have to pick your fucking pen up 3 times to draw, like, psh, psh, psh. The lowercase version of it kind of makes sense. You know, you just kind of get rid of that little top right area, and you kind of have a lowercase h. It's cool. I think lowercase h is pretty cool. The shape of h is pretty alright, actually. It's nice and symmetrical, too. I'm gonna toss it up in C tier. I think it's better than E, honestly. Maybe I'll throw E down in D tier. But I like lowercase e too much. I, on the other hand, I suck. I is a word. I is a reference to you as an individual, or me in this circumstance. But I is just, like, it's so... When you draw an uppercase I most of the time, it's a line. And then, like, you have the number 1 and an I, and you're like, there's no fucking difference in these unless you, like, really make them fancy, but who does that? Huh? You know, you fucking some cartographer? I think that's a map, actually. Yeah, that's maps. I'm thinking calligraphy. And you have to dot your I's. No one I don't do that. Like, I'm fucking speed writing, and I'm like, writing 500 words per minute. I'm not gonna go back and dot my I's. You know what I mean? It's too much work. The precision required when you're like writing out a word. It's like, okay, gotta go back and dot my I real quick. Like, I have to put that shit right over the top of that for lowercase i's. I think it belongs in D tier. I think, and there's not a lot of great words that start with I either. I can't even think of names that start with I. It's a good song by Kendrick Lamar though. J. Same problems that I has. Arguably worse. I is at least symmetrical. J, not symmetrical. J, also like G, makes weird fucking sounds. You can't predict how a J will work in a word until you hear that word. J is also not a word like I, so that kind of sucks. Also, with lowercase j's, same problem with I, except, guess what? It's even worse because it's not fucking symmetrical. But, on the other hand, because it's not symmetrical and looks like a number 1, it's easy to distinguish it between a 1. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Point is, I think J sucks. J is an F tier. If your name starts with J, I know a lot of Jonathans, you know, nothing personal. The first letter of your name just kind of sucks. K, I'll give K this. It's consistent. K makes a K. Pretty cool. I think it's asymmetrical, but it's kind of cool because it's asymmetrical. Usually I'm a symmetry guy, but nah, I think it works pretty well. But drawing a K sucks. I hate drawing Ks. That shit always looks fucking wacky. The top part of it doesn't look big enough or something like that. And the lowercase a and uppercase K look almost identical. It's hard to distinguish the two. Especially when you're writing really fast. It's like, just have to get the proportions just right. It's a hassle. Plus with the whole, like, you know, K and those, you know, those guys in the white hoods and stuff, kind of ruined the letter K for a lot of people. I'm tempted to throw an F tier, but there's a few things I like about it, so it's going to stay in D tier. L. Hold this. L is pretty great. Except that it isn't. L is fairly consistent with how it sounds, at least from the words I can think of. The only problem is that a lowercase L looks exactly like an uppercase I. Confusing as all hell. Also, can mix it up with a 1, which is why I threw it down in D tier. There's a lot of things I like about the letter L, but I feel like the lowercase version of L ruins it. And if you draw your L's with a little whoosh, like a little whoosh, little thing at the end, like a little backwards J, it looks weird. I don't like it. The uppercase version of L, I think it's like a B. So I think that's gonna throw us back again. Like, ah, fuck. Where do I put this? I feel like I have to put this at the bottom. I have to put this at the bottom of C. Because I have a lot of problems with it, like I have problems with I. But at least L doesn't have the whole dot thing going on. That's what's giving it the leg up. M. M's a pretty great letter. M&M's. M&M. It's nice and symmetrical. It's a one line type of letter, like a whoosh, 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 you know. You don't have to lift your pencil. Lowercase M's, they're okay. They look a little wonky to me. For that reason, I'm gonna throw it like the bottom of A tier. I mean, because M usually has a fairly consistent sound, just a You don't even have to open your mouth to make it. Let's go. M is pretty good. It's pretty cool. It's not super common. There's not a lot of cool words with M. M isn't a word in itself. But I think it's pretty cool. It's gonna go in A tier for now. All right. And on the other hand, I think N is also pretty good. It's a mirror of itself, like it's a flipped image, right? You cut it vertically. And a lowercase n, I think, is better than a lowercase m, personally. Maybe I put it at the top of B tier. It's a tough call. I mean, what words start with N that are good? I mean, there's one that's bad. That's for sure. That could definitely bring it down a tier. Like noodles. Noodles is pretty great. I think it's a good word. Again, foreshadowing of where I'm going to be putting O. N is going to stay here. I think it's a pretty great letter. I think it's pretty cool. Not perfect by any means. Honestly, I was going to put A above it, but honestly, like the lowercase version of N, I think looks so much more better than the lowercase version of A. So I'm going to keep it here. For now. Might change things around. Oh, on the other hand, it's going to be our first S tier. Might be our only S tier. Symmetrical. Nice. Easy to draw. Just a circle. Circles can be kind of hard to draw, though, to be fair. But overall, it looks good because of its shape. You see it in a sentence, you're like, oh, that's an O. You can spot an O from a mile away. You just see the hole and you're like, yes. You know? Very nice. The only problem with O is maybe the lowercase version of it isn't distinct. But overall, I'd say like, great fucking letter. Amazing fucking letter. I'm having second thoughts. It makes two different sounds. Kind of a bitch. But most of the times when you make an ooh, like it's two O's, so you know that it's making that sound. It's an O sound. Like Ohio. Like it makes the O sound even better. Like it tells you how to pronounce its name. Yep. O is fucking S tier. I don't care what anyone says. I think O is easy S tier. Don't see myself changing that one. P. I'd say I like the letter P. It's a funny word. P. It starts a lot of words that are funny. You know, phallic objects possibly. P, you know, like urine. That's kind of funny. P and lowercase p are distinct, but they're not too different to where it'd be like, oh, I can't match these. Like a fucking, like G. Like stupid fucking G. The more I think about P, okay. Let's think about it. Pretzel. Partridge. Package. It's going up there. Shit. Is it higher? Is it higher than O? Oh, it has so many fucking... P might be higher than O. I never thought I'd say that. P's good. P's a great letter. I think for simplicity's sake, we're gonna put it above. It's not an easy decision. I did not make these decisions lightly. Q. Q is a unique letter. Not a lot of words start with Q. And most of the times, Q is paired with U. Q can't stand on its own. It is one leg without the other. You do not see Q popping up by itself too often. It is always requiring U. U is its crutch. Q cannot stand on its own. Also, uppercase Q, lowercase q, got a G situation going on there. I think Q kind of sucks. Maybe even worse than G. You kind of have to pick up your pencil to draw a Q, right? Or at least I draw it like I pretty much just draw an O and then I have to draw a line in it. I don't like how it looks either. It looks kind of funny. Yeah, Q is one of the worst letters in the alphabet. I don't know what I was thinking. It is reliant on U almost entirely that I can think of. Quarter. Yeah. I think it kind of sucks. It's going to stay down there. R. Lowercase r, I think is pretty great. Uppercase R is P with extra steps. Don't like it. I think most of the time, at least when I draw R's, that shit never comes out looking how I want it to. Always looks weird, always looks off. It's odd. It's so weird. But like, the sound R makes is really cool. Like, you can roll your R's. That's pretty neat. Like, round. Race. Pretty cool. I'm torn. Uppercase R really takes a lot away from it. Oh, hold up. Lowercase r, when you're drawing it, sometimes can easily turn into a V. Kind of a problem in my opinion. Is it the worst problem in the world? No. But like, is it a great problem? No. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's not a big deal, but at the same time, like, it's a little bit annoying. I think I'll place it at the bottom of B. It's pretty cool, all things considered. S. S will not be going in S tier. That's for sure. S has the C syndrome, where the uppercase and lowercase version of it look almost identical. It doesn't have the symmetry that O offers. Because I mean, like, it always makes a S. But like sounds kind of annoying. Like a hiss. Like you hear that and you're like, ah! Your fucking ears recoil from that shit. I think it's better than C though. I'll put it at the top of C tier. I'm okay with that. It could be better. It could be worse. It could arguably be low B. I could see the argument for that. T. T is a nice looking letter until you look at the lowercase version. Based on just looks alone, T is like an S tier. In uppercase T, that shit looks crisp. But the argument immediately falls apart when you start to look at stuff. Lowercase t looks like shit. I think lowercase t sucks. It just looks weird, it looks weak, it looks off. It's symmetrical. Yeah. But like, T is like, you think of a T, like you put like a circle on top of that, that's like a dude just like flexing on somebody, you know what I mean? Lowercase t just looks so weak, and I mean, I guess it's lowercase. I think it's just like such a downgrade. You have to like dot your I's, cross your T's. That's so annoying. I hate having to go back and like cross my T's. That's picking up pencils. But it can make some pretty cool sounds, especially like T and H are like a dynamic duo. It makes them a th. It's a pretty cool sound. It sounds like a fucking arrow, just like hitting a target like a th. Other than that, I'm like a t. Sounds like a snare drum or like a hi-hat. If it weren't for lowercase t being kind of like a little bitch, I think it'd be higher. But honestly, like I feel like it goes in A tier. I feel like it's too great. It has too many good things going on with it. You. Not you. Me. A U. U is symmetrical. It looks like a horseshoe. Pretty cool. You, also a word referring to somebody else. Second person, right? Lowercase u, also I think looks pretty crisp. Pretty nice. Not symmetrical, but again, a situation where if like, go match the uppercase and lowercase version of this letter and this shit looks like gibberish, you'd be like, yep, that's uppercase and lowercase u. Looks nice. Only problem is, you, like, how many words start with you? But like, also, how many words start with O? And I put O in S tier. I feel like U kind of makes two different sounds. It can be kind of confusing. Sometimes it makes a U sound, which is great. But unlike O, that relies on like the double O to kind of signify it, like it makes a oo sound. U kind of does that too, but there's no indication that it would make that sound before. It's a little wonky of a letter. I don't think it's like great. It's not bad though. I don't think U's a bad letter. But like when I think of U, it's not like I don't get like a positive connotation with it like I do with some letters. I'm not gonna put it at the bottom of B. I don't know. I mean, it literally does all the heavy lifting when it comes to Q. Like without U, Q would be nothing. U was literally carrying an entire letter of the alphabet. Fuck. Noir. Yeah. V. The lowercase version of V kind of uncreative. It's not like an amazing letter. Not a lot of words start with V. Violin. Viola. Violet. Vanquish. A lot of cool words with V now that I think about it. Like a V. That's an aggressive Giga Chad kind of sound, you know what I mean? It's a tough call. But the lowercase version of it is kind of just really uncreative. It's again big small syndrome. They look fairly identical. And sometimes it could be hard to distinguish the two. My dog is barking. Benji. On the topic of V though, it's another tough one. V for Vendetta. Another cool thing. I feel like V, fuck man. That goes in A tier. I don't care. There's too many cool things going on with V. I think it makes kind of cool sounds. I didn't think I even liked V that much, to be honest. But now that I've kind of taken a step back from a neutral, unbiased perspective, V is pretty cool. V has a lot of things going for it. It's also a Roman numeral 5. 5 is a great number. If I were to do a number tier list, 5 would be up there. God, now that I point that out, oh my god, V might be even higher. It doesn't have the problem that T has. Like lowercase t sucks so much. Lowercase v kind of indifferent on it. Like it's not great. If you draw like two lowercase v's next to each other, it's pretty much just a W. I don't know, man. I think it goes above T for sure. W. W is not a W. It's more of a double V thing. At least with this font. The sharp angles, you know what I mean. It is symmetrical though. And I did put M pretty high. But unlike M, which starts... Maybe I put M too high. My own bias got to me. My own name. Fuck. Is W that great? Wha? Who? That's a weird fucking... Who? How does that word even... What other words start with W? Website? W? Not that great. Should I just throw it in the C trash heap? Where would I put it though? Is it better than H? It's better than E. X. X is like a cool looking letter. It's just, whew. It's a symbol. It's got its own thing going on. Think of words that start with X. Metal as shit. Xylophone. X-ray. Xenomorph. Pretty insane shit. X is like a fucking alien letter. I think X is pretty cool. The only downside to X though, it's got the uppercase, lowercase, big, small syndrome going on that I've been talking about. It's not in a lot of words, but maybe it's cool to see it. It's a lot more special when you see an X. It is a pencil picker upper though. Like you have to. There's no way that you draw an X without picking it up, unless you're a fucking maniac. I don't know what other letter I said that about earlier. I think it was like K, but like I feel like you're even more insane if you do that with an X. Like you're deranged. So it is a pencil picker upper, but I think it's better than K. For sure. Lowercase k and uppercase K are way too similar. Which I know is kind of weird, but like I feel it's a lot easier to make an uppercase X and lowercase x look a little bit more distinct with the size. Well, uppercase and lowercase k are like, they're too similar. There's only one thing that you change, this upper part. Well, X, you change the size of the whole thing, scale it down. And it is a cool symbol. It's not great though. I'm gonna put it at the bottom. Better than S? I think that's saying a lot. S is in so many words. I'm gonna move S up a little bit. Y. Can you think of any words other than U? Which is also kind of confusing. Like, what the fuck? There's a reason people only type the letter U, because they don't want to type out Y-O-U. Like, fuck that. What other words start with Y? Yellow? Terrible color. Yummy? Especially after that, like, Justin Bieber song, like, I hear the word yummy, I'm like, ugh. Y? It looks pretty alright, though. You know what else starts with Y? Yahoo. Terrible search engine. Terrible search engine. Terrible email system. Yahoo sucks. Lowercase y, though, looks pretty neat. Y also makes too many different sounds, though. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes Y will make a y. Sometimes it'll make a e. But it is responsible for, like, a lot of cool names. Like, a lot of cool, especially pet names. Like, instead of calling somebody Johnny, call him Johnny. Instead of Isabella, Izzy. But again, with just some extra E's, you could make that same thing happen. But I think that the Y is a little bit cleaner than 2 extra E's. 2 extra E's on the end of a name, that'd be goofy as hell. A Y, for some reason, just fits. That's just tough. I think it's too unimportant most of the time. And especially, like, okay, another thing. Think of, like, back in grade school, like, vowels, A-E-I-O-U, and then sometimes Y. That threw a whole wrench in your brain. You're like, okay, I've got this down. I've just got to memorize these few letters. And then it's like, sometimes Y. When is it Y? And they're like, oh, well, you'll figure it out. Like, they just don't tell you. They never tell you that. Kathy instead of Catherine. Fuck Y. You know? Fuck this shit. Get that shit out of here. Even if it looks cool, there are so many downsides to Y, they just throw it out the window. Z. Z is a very useless letter. No one uses Z. That's a cool sound though. Z. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, Zorro, he makes a Z. That's kind of cool. It's a fun letter to draw. Like, you think about it, like, whew. That's cool. Other than that though, and like, again, upper, lower, big, small problem. I think it's like it's a C tier. Uppercase Z and lowercase Z look identical, but like, Z's also still kind of cool. A lot of problems. Alright, this is my list so far. Is there anything I want to change around? I don't even remember some of the stupid fucking arguments I made for this goddamn list. That's a problem. Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. S is growing on me more and more. Like, I like S. Even though the sound of it's kind of annoying. Like, again, the hiss sound. F is pretty cool too. Like, it's a little annoying. Should E be higher? It's such an essential letter in the alphabet. Yeah. I'm confident with this list. I think I've made some judgment calls. You can argue whether they were good or bad, but I think this is it. Yeah. The definitive letter tier list. You know, I know a lot of people are not gonna like this list. I know a lot of people are gonna look at this and be like, man, this list kind of sucks. And you know what? You're okay to have that opinion. Your opinion might be wrong. You can have that opinion. Even if it's a bad opinion. And on that note, I would like to say thank you all for watching as usual. We've seen a big spike in subs and views. Like, still, holy shit. I'll be having another video out fairly soon here, so you guys can look forward to that if you like my content at all. I'm going to be pinning a comment down below just to get your guys' feedback on this video and just where you would like to see the channel headed. I'd appreciate if you could just give me your feedback below. It means the world to me. All of this. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and take care, fuckers.